everyone. I know lately I've been coming to help teach your kids some yoga poses and some games and some ways that they can help calm their minds and their bodies, or help them focus, or help them take their minds off things. But I was thinking about it the other day, and I realized that a lot of times what we forget to do is care for the caregiver. We've been talking to our kids at home, and I'm sure you have as well, about how we should try to come up with ways we can spread kindness and love, and even while we're social distance, come up with ways to cheer people up or make them feel good. And then I realized, what's a way that I could do that? And it would be a helpful skill or tool to maybe give you guys some yoga that you can use to take care of yourself. I think all too often we forget to take care of the caregiver. I know I'm guilty of that. And a lot of us right now are doing double duty, whether we're teachers or we're aides or we're parents. We might be handling our own workload as well as homeschooling our kids, or we might be taking care of our students as well as our own families at home, and that's a lot of work. I also know that right now emotions can be very vast and very different, and they can even change on a dime. You might be feeling worried or overwhelmed or stressed, and that's normal, but you might also be feeling at one moment so grateful that your family's home with you, that everyone's healthy, and that you get to spend so much time with them, and then maybe 5 minutes later you are wishing it wasn't raining out so that you could scoot the kids out in the backyard and get a moment of peace to yourself. And I've been there. That makes complete sense. So what I was hoping to do today is to give you a yoga class. You don't have to have had any yoga experience. You don't have to have a practice by any means. I'm going to do it fairly simple, and I just came up with some stretches that'll hopefully help if you are an essential worker working long hours, or if you've been chasing after small kids, or if you've been stuck at a desk for a lot more hours than you're used to. Yoga can help with all those things, and it's also a really great time to give yourself a few minutes to care for yourself. I know I've fallen prey to feeling guilty for taking 10 minutes I don't think I have to maybe enjoy a cup of tea or read a book, and then the guilt creeps in and you go, oh, but I could have been preparing a lesson for the kids or spent more time on dinner. But it's really important, because if you are running on empty, you have nothing to give anybody else. So in my opinion, caring for the caregiver is a really important thing to do. Now, just a couple things to start. I said we're going to keep it nice and simple, really basic stretches. I'll be moving from here to the mat, but you don't have to have a mat. You could do this on a towel or a carpeted floor, whatever is convenient. At the end, if you have a blanket, any kind of snuggly blanket or a pillow you might want, there's a little bit of relaxation at the end, and if you can make yourself extra cozy and take a couple extra minutes, good for you. The final thing is yoga should never hurt. So if you feel anything sore or tight, if you can relax into it and work through a soreness, that's awesome. That's one thing that yoga can do. But if you feel a twinge or something just doesn't feel right, you can always rest, and you can rest just in a calm seated position, eyes open or closed. You can also rest in child's pose, which, if you're not familiar, just looks like this, and you curl up over your knees. That's a common resting pose. You could also just rest lying down. If something gets too tricky or something comes up emotionally and you just want to take a break, lay down on your mat or your towel and just take that break. All right, so we're going to start in a comfortable seat. I'll scooch back a little so you can see me. And we're going to, you can just sit regular crisscross, however you'd like. And then we are going to lengthen our back, and we're just going to ground down. So that means you can take a soft focus, or you can close your eyes. You can put a hand on your heart and your belly if you'd like, or 2 hands on your belly, or just rest them on your legs. And we're going to take 3 slow breaths together. So we're going to inhale, do a little pause, and then exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, a little pause, and then exhale. And then once more. Inhale, little pause, and then exhale. Good. Sometimes just taking 3 deep breaths alone can really help me calm down. If I'm stressed out because of something going on at home, if I'm waiting in a line and feeling stress or anxiety, especially right now, just taking a moment to, I guess, sort of go inward or just shut your eyes and take 3 breaths can do wonders. So feel free to open your eyes if they were shut. And we're going to just start with gently tilting our head to the left. You can put your left hand up on your head just as a weight. Don't press down, but it'll just stretch your neck out a little more. This is really great if you've been lifting anything like small children, or if you've been sitting at a desk in front of a screen for a long time. Then if you want to deepen the stretch, just raise your right arm up a little bit, any amount off the ground, and then point those fingers, if you can see them, towards the sky. We'll just take a few breaths in this position. All right, bring it back to center, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So tilt your head to the right, or just the opposite side that you were on. Bring that hand up on the head, just for a little extra weight. And then if you want to deepen the stretch, go ahead and stick that arm out and point the fingers towards the ceiling or sky. Great job. Now we're going to do a few neck circles. And what I want you to do is imagine you have, we tell the kids, imagine you have a little dot of paint or marker on your nose. But just imagine that your nose is what's guiding the neck circle. So we're going to do 3 on each side. Just start with making like a little circle, maybe the size of a little plate. Then a medium circle. And then a larger circle. And then we'll reverse it. Do a large circle to the other side. A medium circle. And a small circle. And then come back to center. You can make those as big or as small as you'd like. Just make sure that they're comfortable. And then we're going to go onto our hands and knees for a little bit of cat-cow. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's totally fine. I'll explain what we do. For this one, we're actually going to put our knees as wide as our mats, and we're going to touch our toes together, kind of like you would in a child's pose. So we're doing a wide-legged cat-cow, and then we just plant our hands right under our shoulders, have a neutral spine to start, and then when we breathe in, you look up and you let your belly sag down or lower with the breath. And then when you breathe out, you round your back, and you sort of look like a Halloween cat or a fraidy cat, and that'll stretch out your back. We'll do a few more of those. Inhale. And exhale. These are also great if you've been lifting any small beings, if you've been sitting at a desk, especially if you've been sitting at a desk a lot longer than you're used to, or even on the couch staring at a screen. We'll do one more. Just work with your breath. Great job. And then we come back to a neutral spine. And then we're going to do circles with our hips. So we're going to breathe in and out. And just with your breath, go ahead and you can make them as big or as small as you'd like. And if you find a spot maybe towards your back that feels like it needs some work, you can just rock in that area or keep making circles. And then after you feel like you've done enough, go ahead and switch your direction and do the same thing on the other side. Going nice and slowly. You can do these quickly too if that feels good, but a lot of times when we're a little sore, going slowly is what really works out all the kinks in our hips and our legs. All right, so now we're going to do what's called threading the needle. I'll turn a little bit so you can see me. We're staying in the same position. Plant one hand in front of you. I'm using my left hand. And then we raise our right hand up to the sky. Inhale. And then on the exhale, you thread it under your left hand and you just place your cheek on the ground. And this hand can stay pressed into the mat, your left hand, or it can come out over your head. And feel free to just look at the video, take a peek if you need to see what I'm doing. And then push your left hand back into the ground. Raise your right hand back up for one more stretch, and then bring it down. Great job. Let's try that on the other side. So we're going to raise our left hand. And on the exhale, we're going to put it under our arm. Bring our left cheek to the ground. And then if you want a deeper stretch, go ahead and extend that right arm out. Otherwise, you can keep it right in front of you. Awesome. And then we come right back up. That was great. So now we're going to come back to a seated position. And we're going to do a little bit of arm stretching. So you can leave your arms out at the side. And we're going to breathe in and raise our hands overhead. And then we're going to give ourselves a hug. And it might seem a little silly, but I actually read a study recently that found that giving yourself a hug has as much therapeutic impact as getting a hug. And right now, I think everyone could use an extra few hugs. And then when we breathe out, we're going to raise our arms back and kind of like a cactus. And that gives a good stretch right here, stretch through the arms. And then we're going to bring them back together, the opposite arm over, so the one that feels kind of funny. Give yourself one more hug. Great job. And then stretch your arms back out. And at any time, if any pose feels really good, feel free to just close your eyes and take a few extra breaths in that pose, or pause the video or remind me later. You can always come back. All right, so now we're going to do a little bit more stretching. We're going to sit, if you can see, one leg in front of the other. And we're going to reach up with our arms as we breathe in. And on the exhale, we're going to stretch forward any amount. If you're really flexible, you might bring your forearms or your head towards the ground. But sometimes, some days, you might be coming here, and that might be as much as you can stretch, and that's just what your body needs. So just listen to your body and do an appropriate stretch for yourself. Then we'll come up, and then we'll switch legs. So you have the opposite leg in front, and we'll do the same thing. Inhale in. And then hinge at your hips. Stretch any amount forward on the exhale. Whatever is comfortable for you, and take a good breath or two in this position. Great work. Okay, so now we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. And we're going to do one more stretch where we can hold on to our ankles or our shins. Sit up nice and tall. And again, hinge at the hips and let your body relax. Some people can bring their heads all the way to the ground. I don't expect anyone to necessarily be able to do that, but just bring it as low as feels comfortable. You'll feel a stretch right here in your hip flexors and through your thighs. This is a great stretch if you've been on your feet all day. All right, then we'll come back up. And then we're going to do a few more circles, like we did in cat-cow, but just in a seated position. And you'll feel this one if you go nice and slowly. Just go with your breath. You inhale as you go forward. Exhale as you round back. You can even round your shoulders a little if that feels good in the stretch. But the more you're able to get a full range of motion in this circle, the better stretch your body's going to feel. And then once you feel you've gone far enough, reverse your direction. Do a few circles in that direction. And again, whatever speed feels comfortable for you. But the slower you go, usually the more you can feel each stretch, especially if you're getting used to it or if you're doing this at night right before bed just to stretch out your muscles. All right, good job. So now we're going to come down to our backs for a little bit more stretching. So we're going to hug our knees into our chest and just roll back nice and slowly. And then we're going to extend out one leg. I'm extending out my left leg. And then I'm going to take my right leg in my left hand and just pull it gently, any amount, over my extended left leg. And this is a twist. And we're going to put our arms out to the side in a T, if that's comfortable to you. And if you want to deepen the stretch a little, look over your right shoulder. Now, twists are really great. They are great for stretching out the spine. They're great for your oblique muscles, the sides of your abs. They're also great for digestion. So if you're having a night where Maybe you're just not digesting your food as well. You can always do a twist. Okay, and then we'll pull out of that. And then extend your right leg long, or the opposite leg, whatever you weren't twisting before. Pull your left leg to your chest. Use your right hand to guide your left leg over your right leg, and then back out to a T, and you can look over your left shoulder. We'll take a few breaths, twisting to the other side. Great work. Okay, now we're gonna pull our feet back into our chest, and we're gonna put one leg down. I'm putting my left leg on the mat, but keeping it bent, and then crossing my right leg over my left leg. Then I'm gonna take both my hands and thread them through and around my left thigh, and I'm just gonna rock back and forth a little. This gives you a good back massage. It gives your glutes and your hips a massage. If you want a deeper stretch, you can always extend this leg up. Or as long as it's comfortable for your knees, you never want it to hurt, you can bend it in and bring your hands around the shin of that leg. I find that both of those stretches feel good, but it really depends on the day for me which one feels best. Or if you just want to keep it nice and simple, just keep that leg out. Okay, now we'll bring both legs down, and we'll do that on the other side. So I'm crossing my left leg over my right leg, threading my hands through and grabbing around my right thigh, and then rocking back and forth. And again, you can extend the leg. You can even point and flex the toe if that feels good. Stretch out your calves, maybe they're a little sore. Or grab around your shin. Both of those are deeper stretches, so just do whatever is most comfortable for you. And then plant that leg back on the ground, the other leg. And then we're going to do a final moving pose of Happy Baby, if you're familiar with that pose, or we can do a more passive stretch. I'll show you both. So for Happy Baby, you bring your feet up, and you can either grasp the outside of your feet, or your inner arches, and you just rock back and forth. That, again, gives you a really good back massage. If you want to keep it more passive, you can just keep your legs wide and just hold at your shins or right at your knees, and just let your legs and your lower back relax. So either of those are great. This just gives us a little final stretch. All right, and then we're going to bring our legs to the mat. And if you have any props, if you want to do a blanket that you'd like to cozy up in, we're getting to our final relaxation. We're going to stretch our legs out long, and you're going to stay in that position, blanket or a pillow, whatever you need to make you comfortable, maybe an eye pillow or dim the lights. And I'm going to sit up because I have a poem to read you to get you going into your relaxation today. And normally after final relaxation or Shavasana, we'd all sit up and we'd say namaste to one another and thank you for coming. But since we're doing this as a virtual session, I thought that especially if you found a few minutes to snag to get these stretches done, you might just want to stay on your mat a little longer. So if you, while you're lying, want to just bring your palms together and put them at your heart, I just want to say namaste, and the beauty in me sees the beauty in you. Whatever your profession or your role right now, you are doing a great job. This time was so valuable, and I'm so proud of you for taking it to take care of yourself so you can care for others. And now while you lay, I'll read you your poem. And then afterwards, feel free to pause the video, just let it end, and you can lay and relax as long as you feel comfortable. Just let your body fully relax into the mat and take that break. You need it and you deserve it. So while you're laying flat on your mat with your legs out and your arms at your sides, feel free to close your eyes as you're comfortable. And I'll read you this poem called For the Senses. May the touch of your skin register the beauty of the otherness that surrounds you. May your listening be attuned to the deeper silence where sound is honed to bring distance home. May the fragrance of a breathing meadow refresh your heart and remind you you are a child of the earth. And when you partake of food and drink, may your taste quicken to the gift and sweetness that flows from the earth. May your inner eye See through the surfaces and glean the real presence of everything that meets you. May your soul beautify the desire of your eyes, that you may glimpse the infinity that hides in the simple sights that seem warm to your usual eyes. That was by John O'Donohue, and I hope that helped you get a little more relaxed and get you in the right mindset for Shavasana. Now, while you're lying there, what I want you to do is give your body and your mind permission to completely let go. I want you to feel yourself just sinking into your mat, kind of like you're almost melting into the floor. And let everything release. Just let it go. And know that this is exactly what you needed right now. And this is exactly where you're meant to be. So let it all go and enjoy the rest of your day.